She's meeting friends and neighbors all around our community. Who's this local columnist? You'll meet her. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on community service, and we're visiting with one of the Herald columnists, Sharlene Zwing. Good morning, Charlene.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming in. These colors just pump us up in the morning.
I appreciate it. It worked well.
On a Friday morning at 7. This is great to get you in. I'm sorry it's taken this long to get you in.
I appreciate being here.
You know, we think about the Friends and Neighbors column and how long that's been going on in the Herald, well before we ever got involved. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time.
Who would have guessed? I mean, no one would have guessed that 10 years later it would still be there.
Yeah. What, is that the Herald or your column? Yeah.
The Herald.
Either one.
And the column,
right.
the same thing together.
Yeah. You've been with the Herald a long time.
That's a good thing.
It is. It is. You know, it's exciting to see how the column has morphed, and surely as the changes happen. And just last week, it was exciting to see one of the shots in there of the founder of the Herald, Debbie Harwell, I think celebrating her birthday.
Yes, we make her wear the crown.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have a birthday lunch tradition where if you go to lunch, you have to be the birthday queen. You have to be embarrassed wearing a crown in a restaurant, and everybody asks about it. It was Debbie's turn.
And she wore it?
She must wear it. She knew coming there she'd be wearing it.
That's hilarious. How many folks came over to talk to her?
The manager came to ask what she was the queen of. We decided she was the queen of birthday day.
Oh, yeah.
And then several waiters came over and were bringing the cake with the candle.
Yeah.
And then we had people who wanted to sing. It always elicits something fun.
So no matter who it is within this group, somebody's wearing the crown.
We bring
on
the crown.
birthdays. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's hilarious. How many folks are coming out for this? Is it a small crowd?
Well, we have anywhere from 4 to 12. It's a group that goes in and out depending on, you know, what the day is that we pick for someone's birthday. But always the birthday queen shows up.
Yeah, I bet they do, even if they're there alone with their crown. Charlene, that's exciting.
You have to make it fun.
Please send Debbie our best. Of course, the Herald's best as well as mine. That, you know, she was with us recently. She was kind enough to take a little time off from her radio show. She's just doing a great job with Porter.
She keeps very busy.
Yeah, they are really hectic now.
Yes.
A lot going on. Of course, this isn't about her. Friends and Neighbors was something that kicked off not long after the Herald launched.
Yes, basically Debbie was looking for a way to fill the paper with something interesting that people would want to read. And so she was talking to a group of friends. I don't think it was a birthday party, but it was similar kind of a thing. And she said, Charlene, I bet you can write something funny about what goes on in your family. Because I always seem to tell silly tales of something that happened with one of the 4 children. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, well, I'd give it a shot to help her fill in space. For a week, you know, I was thinking.
Sure.
Help her out this week.
Mm-hmm.
And as I recall, a friend of ours, Suzette Rogers, was retiring from Thomas Hogan. It was called another travel agency at the time. It became Thomas Hogan Travel. And I believe that was either the first or second time. So because I was with her having a party, I added that to the funny thing about the family. And next thing you know, Debbie said, oh, when you're out, write fun things that happen in town.
Oh, yeah.
So then that just kept building, and then readers will write to you and say, you know, this happened, or someone will say, you need to go to so-and-so's event, this is happening. And before you knew it, it became kind of a fun way of highlighting people that you know in town.
Mm-hmm. Truly. And, of course, town begins to morph into a lot of areas. I mean, the Herald, when I got involved, the Herald had boxes in North Myrtle and down in Pawleys and in Conway, and so town becomes a pretty big area to cover.
That's the truth. And everybody wants to know what's going on the Grand Strand period. It's just an interesting place.
Yeah, absolutely. Friends and neighbors, and there are a heck of a lot of them out there.
There are.
There are. Real quick about yourself, Charlene. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm not. My husband and I have been here about 22 years. We're originally from Ohio.
What brought you here?
We think of ourselves like the Beverly Hillbillies. One day we thought we'd strike oil, jumped on the truck, and headed somewhere. And we ended up coming here, having a great time, and we both loved the beach. And at the time, it became home. And then little by little, with friends and family, which is definitely the nature of this area, you want to stay, and you build in.
And, of course, y'all, I think you mentioned, did you say 4 kids just a minute ago? Yeah.
4 great kids.
Wow. And of course, they're all here. And I think you've got a daughter, your oldest, who'll be attending college in the fall.
Yes, that's a good thing.
But I'm sure that must be a great thing, but at the same time, must be a strange feeling.
It's hard to believe they're yours at that age.
Yeah.
Other than that, it sounds kind of great to have one moving on to something good and positive, and also having a little bit less opinion around the house, maybe.
And the other three are what ages?
My daughter's 17, my son is 13, 12, and 10, three other boys.
Okay, so this is...
I'll be in a minority then.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be 4-1 there.
It will be.
Mom's going to get creamed. Yeah, you're still in the minority with you and Lindy are still, I guess it's still 4-2.
Yeah, but there's a fear factor in women. Two women are still stronger than that many men. I don't know when it gets down to 3-1 what it'll be.
Yeah, golly, they're going to be clubbing up on Mom. Poor Sharlene. And of course, y'all have a advertising and design business, is that right?
That's correct. We started that the year after we came here, and that's been very successful. We've been fortunate to have the same clients that started with us stay with us. We have incredible clients, and that's a part of what makes your family.
You said y'all had been here 22 years, so 21 years ago, y'all kicked off Zwing Advertising.
It did. At the time, we had a partner, so it had another name. And then 13 years ago, the week before my 13-year-old was born, we bought out the business. I don't know if you can sign contracts in that late trimester of pregnancy. Now that I'm thinking about it.
That would have been a great way to get out of it after the fact, but it worked well.
It did work then.
Yeah, it worked well. What is that like as when you think, and not to name any clients, but if you've had clients for that amount of time, seeing their businesses grow and change and morph, that must be very exciting.
It's just truly a blessing to have people who stay by you, help you, have lived through us having children in the office or pets in the office, know it's a family atmosphere, and their business growing, people going to them for advice, them advising clients, new clients to us. It's really just been an amazing thing that, some people are fortunate, and we are very fortunate. Our very first client that we ever had is still with us. The Dinos at Cagney's and Flamingo, the very first ones.
21 years ago,
yes.
Yeah.
And are also great assets to us for new clients.
Wow. That's tremendous. 21 years ago.
Now you see why they're family.
Yeah, of course. That's exciting, Sharlene. You think about aspects like that, being in a community, and of course now seeing your 4 children and all raised here and one soon to go off to college, to see changes in the area, that must be very exciting.
That's what makes this place great. Such a tight community here. I mean, once you find friends and people that you can be close with, the community just becomes yours. That's the greatest thing about the Grand Strand. Whether it's people who are generous or people who are caring or people who want to take care of you and you take care of them, that's the nature of the Grand Strand.
And you used that word community. I'm glad you did. And I said we were focused on community services. I looked down on the list of activities that you're involved in outside of y'all's business, and outside of raising 4 children, being active in their lives, the activities and communities, one of them, Community Parents Board, there in Myrtle Beach, but of course all the excitement involved in kids voting, the Myrtle Beach Women's Club, which has been very time consuming. We sure want to hear more about the Women's Club, but some of the excitement for you, I'm sure, has just been getting your hands into the community.
I think that's a part. That's a part of being a community member, is to become involved and benefit those around you so then your community can be better. Being involved in any one of those organizations certainly brings great things to my life, and I'd advise everyone to get out and join one or two, and before you know it, it's kind of contagious. You find yourself in a lot more. All the people I work with in those organizations are dedicated, fun people. Again, end up being more family. I guess as an Italian, the more family, the better. So whether it's your neighborhood, your neighbors, or an organization you belong to, they got to be family.
Right. Those are great words. We think about, of course, the bulk of our viewers in the PD and southeastern North Carolina, so less than a third of my viewers are here in Horry County. So the excitement for us to see this very large county and a lot of great cities within the county, still a heck of a lot of other folks travel down here, and at some level consider this area home. They've been coming here forever.
Yes, but that's the nature of the South, too. I think it's so family-oriented anyway. Everything revolves around family. So I'd say in the PD in South Carolina, no matter where you look,
Right.
it's the nature of it. You just get involved, and before you know it, you're a part.
Share with viewers about the Myrtle Beach Women's Club, Charlene, the nonprofit of the year, recently recognized, and of course, hopefully that'll continue for a good while. The Myrtle Beach Women's Club, you've been involved with them more than 15 years now.
Just about 15 years.
Right.
Next year will be my 15th year. That's just a phenomenal organization of working, dedicated ladies who raise money in this community and then spend that same money in this community. As you said, last year we were just unbelievably thrilled to receive the Nonprofit of the Year winner from the paper, and everybody worked really hard for that, so that was something we were really proud of. But that money will go right back into the community and service a lot of the smaller agencies as well as individuals. So that organization is sort of active in about any aspect you can look at as far as giving help. As a matter of fact, right now we're working on a Myrtle Beach High School female scholarship award recipient. We give $1,000 there, and we have full scholarships at Coastal and Horry Georgetown Tech. Those are things that right now we're using some of our money towards. We also just had a fundraiser called an Artsy Affair 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so ago. Great community fun event where local artists were able to showcase their art.
Yes.
Local community people were able to come, have a glass of wine, meet each other, look at art, relax. Very fun and, easy. And yet the club managed to make at least $13,000 to date on that, which again will be spent this year in this community.
Great. And speaking of clubs, 2001 opened their doors for an Artsy Affair, which I'm sure was a treat being up there.
Yeah, Roger Davidson, that's one of the finest community members. He gives to us all the time for the venue and also assistance. Helps a lot in making money when you don't have expenses.
An Artsy Affair. Debbie Bernakis was with us helping to promote that event, which really came off. Glad it came off so well. You must have been thrilled, Charlene. You were one of the co-chairs of that event this year, weren't you?
Yes, and Debbie was in charge of tickets, and trust me, a lot of it comes down to selling those tickets. She did a great job.
Yeah.
Our club worked real hard on that event, and it highlighted our club in a very great light. A lot of people who came may have supported us in the past, maybe gave us money or, bought tickets but really didn't come. This year they came, and they were proud of seeing what the club did. I think last year's event, opening the mall, with the governor there and the things that we had, really kind of brought that into the foreground. And now with the 10,000 that we've got, we've got even more we can do.
That's right. Of course, last year, the opening of the mall, you say that for viewers who may not be familiar with that, Myrtle Beach Women's Club's annual event, much like the Artsy Affair a few weeks ago, was the grand opening gala for the Coastal Grand Mall.
That's correct.
It's a big celebration, and you all had as your prime recipient of funds, I think, the March of Dimes locally.
That's correct. And that was the largest amount we have ever made, and we made 30 on that one. And we split that with the March of Dimes, and then the rest went back into our scholarships and the things that we do in town. That was our largest, and that was an incredible one. But we had so many people at that wanted to see the mall and support us. That helped us again this year.
Absolutely. That had to have been such a prime setting to help set the stage to continue to grow the Myrtle Beach Women's Club. How many members do you all have on an active basis, and are there other folks that are involved? And I wanted to ask real quick about the garden. You all have a...
Yes, we have there are 40. We have a limit of 40 active members in our club. It's in our bylaws, so that's just something we set to try to work within a small group to get everything accomplished. We have a drive for that in the fall for new members, and we will next fall have another. The Myrtle Beach Women's Club Gardens by the Sea is located in the Cabana section, just above 52nd Avenue on the ocean front. And that park was done in connection with the city of Myrtle Beach, and they basically did all of our foundation work, and we raised the funds. In the park, we have a children's playground. We have one of the first public restrooms on the ocean front. We have water fountain, but we also have a pet water fountain, so when you're walking your dog. And then we have a rose garden that was dedicated to one of our deceased members who loved roses. And it's an ongoing fundraiser. We sell pavers in different sections that locals can buy. And on the pavers, we will put something to your loved one. So that is our ongoing fundraiser.
And of course, you all do serve so many groups. It was fascinating when young Jackie Vereen was with us right around the time of the celebration of the Nonprofit of the Year, when we were talking about so many activities. It was amazing to see the activities and the numbers of scholarships that you all have set up for groups, or the help you all did the first year you got involved, post-Hugo, heading down there to the, I can't remember the area down there, but making a dramatic difference on the McClellanville area, I believe.
Those are some hard-working ladies.
Yeah.
And they will find a cause that needs, they'll head it, they'll herald it, and now it will become successful. That's a very dynamic group.
You know, the producer had asked me if I had interviewed you before, and I couldn't remember, but of course we had. Sun Fun, when we were together at the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, focus on an upcoming pageant. That's something you were involved in for a long time, and I guess remain involved in.
Yeah, that was probably one of the first things I ever did, and the lady that I first met in that through the chamber kind of drove me into a couple of the organizations I'm in now. That's also an incredible event, and I'm glad that that's continuing. Even though change has occurred, it's always fun to have something like a festival that has been going on that long.
Absolutely. Go ahead and let's talk a little bit about your column, Sharlene. I know you said sometimes folks will submit ideas to you, of course, to see how it has morphed over the years. And, you know, it's amazing. A lot of columnists will come and go. But to have seen this column in the Herald for so many years now, and to see how has it morphed over the years, what have been some of the changes in the column as you think back on it, some of the early stages of the column, and what are some of the things you try to do on a regular basis for viewers in the PD or in southeastern North Carolina, or even viewers down here who may not have seen it?
Originally, as I said, it had a story component, more of a tale or something humorous, and then the end was a few local things. As more local things came in, and they can be in the PD, Loris, they've been Aner, they've been Gallivan's Ferry. As those things have come in, there isn't enough room to write fun tales. We now have to get to let's highlight all these fun activities of people in town. So that's probably been where one of the biggest changes have been. I think what kind of drives it in my mind is I always try to highlight as many folks' names as I possibly can. And people who say something to me about the article always say they pick it up to see who they knew who did something that week. So I try to keep it to a very small few-liner, unless it's a major event, so that we can get in as many things that occurred in that week, you know, as possible. Used to be, some people would just tell me, oh, check with so-and-so, they have something going on. Now I'll have people that will actually say, you know, I don't know if this would be interesting for you, but, and a lot of those things are really what I try to use, more simple. I mean, it can be as easy as someone who has just absolutely been waiting years, as one of the gentleman I know was in my article. He had never had a brand new car in his entire life. And one day he happened to mention to me that he won a brand new car through a cigar company, a convertible, and it was his first new car ever. See, that's interesting. That's fun. That's the salt of the earth stuff that, you know, you just don't know a lot about. That kind of thing is what I try to strive for finding. So I encourage anybody to write to the email address or let the paper know, fax, however they have about information on their friends or family, so that they can highlight people they know and kind of make them happy about something that would be simple in their life. It doesn't have to be grand by any means.
That's a great point. It doesn't have to be grand.
No.
You want everyone to submit stuff at all levels. I mean, whatever
it's simple.
It is.
Family picnic, special anniversary, things like that. Very simple.
That's why Friends and Neighbors is such an appropriate title there. I mean, because activities going up and down the Grand Strand's vital, but the Friends and Neighbors component is exactly what it's about.
I've always liked that name. I don't remember where it came or why, but I think it's good.
You and Debbie had something to do with on that. You know, you think about we hadn't yet talked too much about Myrtle Beach education. I know you've been active with the Myrtle Beach Education Foundation. I think you helped get Sally Key in here last summer sometime when she was with us. And it was so exciting to see how the Education Foundation's kicked off, as well as some of your involvement there in the Myrtle Beach PTO through the schools. As you've seen your kids grow up in the school system, what have been some of the highlights for you on the active side of Myrtle Beach education?
The good thing about, one of the good things, there's a million good things about your children, but one of the good things is they introduce you to people, and those people enrich your life. Many of the people that are my friends are friends that I've met through the school because I had to be there for my child, or because I went to something and met someone new. Sally was one of those people. Met her at a registration. Somebody said, do you know her? I said, I don't. When we were there, she said, you know, somebody said to me, do I know you? And I didn't. And then the next thing you know, Sally and I are into something. I think that education really has a tendency to draw people who have families to each other. And to be actively involved in our schools is really a joy because they're so open about the fact that they want you there, they need your help, they encourage your help, and they want members of the community to share what they do to make active citizens for our future. Certainly having 4 children over 4 completely different schools made it a little more challenging in the past couple of years. In Myrtle Beach, because of the way the school is set up, I ended up with 1 child in 1 school over 4 schools. This year's the very first time I've had 2 children in 1 school. I'm only in 3 schools. But I miss my other 2 schools. I love my principals, I love the administration, the people there are always looking to you for help or thoughts. And I have to say that our education system's great. I mean, we have one of the finest here. Out at the district level, I serve on the business advisory cabinet, and I can tell you they're very open to hearing the community. It does take a little bit of work for the people who say they don't listen. It takes a little bit more work than just, one little mention. As long as you're willing to put in a little bit of effort, to get to somebody and get it right, they're willing to listen.
That's great. I'm glad they are.
They are.
It's important to know that ears are there. And, Brad Dean said that one day, 2 ears, 1 mouth. There's a reason for that. We should be listening twice
I like that.
Twice as much as we talk. Very important to think about that. I think it was just last week. It must have been last Wednesday that sometime recently, your daughter was recognized for a national award. Can you share with the viewers real quick about that?
I think the one you were referencing is the governor gave a leadership award to students in the state. He recognized them during a luncheon, which was really exciting, so the whole family got to go there for a picture and see the State House and spend some time in the state's capital. It's amazing. I admire and feel blessed to know my children a lot. And they really make some great accomplishments if you feed them in the right direction. This one, she'll be going off to college. I'll be glad for whatever she achieves. I'm glad for what she brings me into now. And I think that there's a lot of those things that she has really opened up. Kids voting, which you mentioned, she was on the National Student Advisory Panel.
I saw that.
And, the first time out of South Carolina, you never know. You never know what your children are going to do. Again, same thing. You just open their eyes up to things and hope that they'll fill in those paths with places you'd like them to go.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of the work that they have done, and that was certainly one of the biggest accomplishments, was getting to go to meet the governor because of her. It wasn't even us.
Because of Linda.
Because of your children.
That is great.
Yeah.
And she was the first and only at the time representative on the kids voting, you said the
national panel.
Right.
Yes, this is her last year. She's hoping to find somebody in our area who will take that over so that we can keep that going. But yeah, that was another one of the things. She's a very driven woman. I always say she's either going to be the first female president of the United States, or we'll find her the first something else that hasn't been decided yet.
And I'm sure that'll happen. That's
I don't know
right.
which one.
I think I saw your youngest son was performing recently, or starring in, the King and I, Theater of the Public over in Conway just last week, which ended this past Sunday.
That was a lot of fun. Again, community theater, new people. It seems like all of mine have different talents. This one enjoys performance and art, kind of takes after his father. And so he landed a main role in The King and I. Solos, lines.
No.
It was a whole new thing for Mom to watch. So while I was being the carpool helper, they needed someone else to be in the play. And, of course, if you're going to be there every night, well, you should be helping out in the play, too. And before you know it, we were both in the play. It was a great experience. Some incredible leads, Mike Martell and Gretchen Smith. I mean, fabulous for anybody who got to see that Rodgers and Hammerstein show. It was really, really incredible. So that was a new one to us. Hour and a half of makeup trying to look like, I believe it was Siam at the time, now Thailand. We really had to change ourselves. Now, my son was Lewis. He was an English boy. So he didn't have a whole lot of makeup, but they dyed his hair blonde. After they dyed his hair blonde, they decided they would make his mother be a redhead.
Oh, no.
We stuck with the blonde.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. This is your 4th grade son being up on the stage with him.
Singing solos. Can you
know.
imagine? I don't. But I see him every night, and I knew it was true.
That's right. That must have been exciting being on the stage with him.
It was new. It was a new and cool experience.
Did Ron and the rest of the family come out and see you all perform?
Oh, yes. They made a few nights. They brought friends and other family, and then other family in the audience who I don't even know came up and said, "Oh, you're so-and-so." Because, of course, in the program it mentioned my Herald column.
Oh, great.
And so people came, "I've seen your picture. You know, I know you." So it was a great way to meet some people that I hadn't known. That was a really neat thing. All of them seemed to have different talents. One art, one leadership. My other two play soccer. As a matter of fact, my 12-year-old made the regional Olympic development team week before last.
Wow.
And we'll be going to Alabama to represent the state in the regionals. 12 years old. As I say, some of these things are blessings of your being there, and you just have to look back and say it was all good.
The 12-year-old representing the state in the regionals, and your 17-year-old
Only one out of the
getting
county.
You with the governor this past Wednesday.
Only one out. Yeah, really.
pretty
How
dang
about
exciting.
that? I'm doing pretty good. Now
You
I'm
are,
thinking.
Sharlene. Yeah. Speaking of doing good, we have done good on 25 minutes. We're out of time. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Sharlene Zwing coming up next. Whether it's the nonprofit of the year, the Myrtle Beach Women's Club, the Myrtle Beach Schools, the Myrtle Beach Education Foundation, or even the Myrtle Beach Herald, Sharlene Zwing and all of her friends and neighbors are out doing what they do best, serving the community. Thanks for being with us.